My mother was my father's lawfully wedded wife, yet she was not allowed to step through the gates of the Lu mansion until I turned 5. The only reason was that she was the woman father had brought back from afar. According to the rules of the Lu clan, on New Year's Eve, father had to hit the lucky apple hanging in the ancestral hall with an arrow while blindfolded. Only then could mother enter the mansion as the legitimate matriarch and take charge of the household's finances and affairs. Father was an archer whose aim never missed a target even 100 paces away, yet every New Year's Eve, his arrow always fell just a hair's breadth short of the apple. He was consumed by guilt over this. All he could do was dote on mother even more and promise her that he would hit the mark the following year. On the New Year's Eve of the 6th year, mother secretly took me to hide in the Lu family's ancestral hall ahead of time. Before long, father walked in, blindfolded, drew his bow, and aimed the arrow at the lucky apple. My heart bubbled with excitement, convinced that this time, he would keep his promise, hit the apple, and take mother and me home. But in the split second when he released the arrow, his body tilted ever so slightly, almost imperceptibly. The moment father let the arrow fly, I nearly screamed out loud, it's off target, but mother clamped her hand over my mouth in an instant, robbing me of my voice. I could only watch helplessly as the arrow whooshed through the air. What a pity, just a hair's breadth away again, sighed an old man with a white beard from the Lu clan. You still have 2 more chances, father nodded, keeping his eyes covered, and shot the second arrow. It missed by just a hair's breadth again. I was confused. I had seen father shoot arrows before. The Lu family was a clan of skilled archers. And father was a once-in-a-century prodigy, famous throughout Qingcheng for his ability to hit targets 100 paces away while blindfolded. When he demonstrated his archery skills for me, he had never tilted his body like that. Was he so nervous that his hands shook? I turned to look at mother. The warm, gentle woman I knew was now cold-faced. Father quickly shot the third arrow. He still tilted his body slightly as he released it. But the sound it made when it hit was different from the previous 2. He hit it. Did he really hit it? Wait, does this count as a hit? I could feel mother's hand, which was holding mine, suddenly tighten. I was so anxious that I craned my neck. But all I could see was father's face. He had already taken off his blindfold. I hit it. For some reason, his voice sounded less than enthusiastic, because in the next moment, he turned to look nervously at a woman standing beside him. I recognized this aunt. Her name was Xie Yuan. I had heard the servants whisper that the Xie and Lu families had been close for generations. Later, when the Xie family fell on hard times, Mrs. Xie entrusted her 10-year-old daughter Xie Yuan and her newborn son to the Lu family before passing away. They said that the old lady of the Lu family had always groomed Xie Yuan to be the future matriarch of the Lu clan, even handing over the management of the household to her early on. If it weren't for mother interfering, Xie Yuan would have been the one to marry father. The day father brought mother back, Xie Yuan had chased after him, asking what would happen to her. When father said he didn't want to marry her, she had tried to hang herself in a fit of rage. She had been saved, but the incident left her with a chronic heart condition that flared up from time to time. The servants said it was all mother's fault. That day, I had gone to ask father what interfering meant. Father's face had turned black with anger. He hadn't even finished his meal before storming out to punish the gossiping servants. He had always said that he didn't like Xie Yuan, that letting her manage the household was just a stopgap measure until mother returned to the Lu mansion. Once mother was home, he would send Xie Yuan away. His heart belonged only to mother, but at this moment, he was looking at Xie Yuan with obvious anxiety. Clan leader, does this count as a hit? Xie Yuan bit her lip, her voice trembling. Well, the old man looked troubled. To be honest, this rule has been followed in the Lu family for 100 years, and we've never encountered such a situation before. If you say it's not a hit, the arrow did graze the lucky apple and even scraped off a piece of its skin. if you say it is a hit. The arrow didn't strike the center of the apple. He stroked his white beard, muttering, "This is tricky, very tricky. It's fine, if it counts as a hit. I'll hand over the management of the Lu household." Xie Yuan swayed unsteadily, as if she was about to collapse. A figure suddenly darted forward. It was father. Catching her in his arms, "Cheng Yuan," she said, tears spilling from her eyes the moment she blinked. I suddenly feel a tightness in my chest. I can't breathe." Father didn't say a word. I couldn't see the expression on his face, but his hand supporting her tightened noticeably. "Cheng Yuan, you've been shooting this arrow for 6 years now," the old man sighed. "It's not right for your wife and child to be living outside the mansion like this. Why don't we just—" "It doesn't count," father suddenly said. The entire ancestral hall fell silent. The old man stared at him in shock. "Cheng Yuan, are you sure about this?" Father nodded. "Yes, I didn't hit the center of the apple, and rules cannot be broken. I'll shoot again next year, and I'll definitely hit the mark. As for my wife and daughter, Iron has always been understanding and considerate. She won't make a fuss about waiting just 1 more year." The old man fell silent for a moment. "Since you've said so yourself, then this year's attempt is still a miss." Father nodded. I felt a little upset. Just before he left the house that day, he had hugged Mother and promised that he would do his utmost. Why was he now saying it didn't count? The onlooking clansmen gradually dispersed. Father turned to look at Xie Yuan, sighing, "Why are you still crying? I missed again this year. You don't have to leave the Lu mansion." Xie Yuan's tears turned into a smile through her sobs, but she still clutched her chest, speaking in a delicate, fragile voice about how watching father shoot the arrow had made her so nervous that her heart was racing and she felt terrible. Then I watched as father held out his hand, letting her lean on him as they walked out of the ancestral hall together. The ancestral hall was empty. Mother took my hand and led me out from behind the fence. In fact, the moment father said it doesn't count, her hand, which had been clenched tight with tension, had relaxed. She remained calm, as if she had expected this outcome all along. "Mother, why did father say it doesn't count? He obviously hit the apple," I asked, confused. We had waited 6 long years for this. Finally, he had hit it, only to dismiss it so casually. Mother squeezed my hand, her eyes dazed as she murmured, "Perhaps he never really wanted to hit it." Yes, when father was young, he had been a renowned archery prodigy in Qingcheng. Even the emperor had heard of him and summoned him to the palace specially to watch him shoot arrows. Unfortunately, jealous rivals had framed him, injuring his wrist. On that day, not a single one of his arrows had hit the target. He had become a laughingstock in Qingcheng. Mockery and suspicion had crushed him. He could no longer even pick up a bow, and the sight of arrows made him want to throw up. Later, the Lu family had invited a wise man to help him. The man had said that father's destiny lay in the south, where he would meet his lucky star, so father had traveled south, and it was in Jiangcheng that he met mother. Mother was also skilled in archery, and they often practiced together. At first, father couldn't even hold a bow steadily, but mother had stayed by his side, encouraging him, helping him slowly emerge from that dark period of his life. And on the day he finally hit the target again, he had confessed his love to her. Mother hadn't agreed at first. She had never thought of marrying him, but father had refused to give up. He hadn't returned to Qingcheng, choosing instead to live in the courtyard next to mother's through every winter and summer. Even when mother avoided seeing him, his passion never faded. For a pastry that mother had casually mentioned, he had braved the rain to travel half the city to find it for her. When mother had accidentally gotten hurt, he had climbed mountains personally to gather rare medicinal herbs. When Jiangcheng was hit by a flood and mother was trapped, father had jumped back into the raging river to save her, even though he had already been rescued himself. Later, mother had agreed to go back to Qingcheng with him and marry him, but the Lu clan had rigid rules. recognizing only marriages arranged by parents and matchmakers. Even though mother and father were already legally married, having performed the wedding ceremony and registered their marriage with the authorities, father still had to hit the lucky apple for mother to be recognized as the legitimate matriarch of the Liu family and take charge of the household. Until then, mother couldn't live in the Liu mansion, she had to stay in a house on the outskirts of the city, where most of the residents were mistresses of wealthy and powerful men. Once, when mother had taken me out, some boys had thrown eggs at us and called me a bastard. When father found out, he had been furious. He had gone to those boys' homes personally and made their families apologize to mother and me. This is my lawfully wedded wife, Liu Chengyuan's wife, not some mistress, he had shouted. I didn't understand. Clearly, he hated the words mistress and bastard as much as we did. So why, when he could have taken us home, did he choose to give up? Mother and I returned home. To our surprise, father was already there, waiting for us. The moment he saw us, he hurried forward, his face filled with guilt. I missed again by just a little this year, mother hummed in response. He probably hadn't expected her to be so calm. Ian, are you angry with me? I'm useless. But I promise you, next year, I'll definitely hit the mark next year. Mother, who had remained calm the entire way home, suddenly laughed. Liu Chengyuan, you've missed for 6 years in a row. How can you guarantee that you'll hit it next year? Father froze. He clenched his fists tightly. I'll practice hard for a whole year. I'll definitely hit it next year. I was so close this year. Ian, just wait one more year. Please, we've already waited 6 years, what's one more? Besides, the Liu mansion has so many rules. If you go back, you'll have to wait on my aunt and manage the household. It'll be so tiring, nowhere near as free as you are here. Enjoying this peaceful life for one more year isn't a bad thing, is it? Mother laughed again. So according to you, missing the shot and not being included in the Liu clan's genealogy is actually for my own good? Then I won't bother going back at all. Father froze, then quickly said, how could that be? I want nothing more than to bring you home as soon as possible. Of course you have to be included in the Liu clan's genealogy and take charge of the household, it's just a matter of time. Next year, I'll definitely hit the mark next year. That's what he promised. But he probably forgot he had said the exact same thing last year. Next year, next year. Mother had waited year after year, but his next year never came. At that moment, as mother fell silent, father stepped forward, pulled her into his arms shamelessly, and stroked her face, then mine. Why are you pouting, Tong Tong? It's New Year's Eve today, you mustn't upset your mother. Father will just go to the Liu mansion for dinner and be right back. I'll stay with you two tonight to set off fireworks. Okay, since mother and I weren't included in the Liu family tree, we weren't allowed to spend New Year's Eve at the Liu mansion. Every year, only on the evening of the first day of the Lunar New Year were we permitted to visit the old Liu family residence and have a meal with Grandpa Liu and Grandma Liu. Treating it as our New Year's reunion dinner, a manservant called from outside the door, urging father to hurry, saying if he delayed any longer, he'd miss the auspicious time for the New Year's Eve feast. Mother coldly pushed father away. You should leave now, but he leaned in again, pressing a kiss to her cheek. Be good, Ian. I'll be back soon. I'll set off the biggest firework for you and Tong Tong. After father left, mother told someone to fetch a basin of water. She washed every spot on both of us where father had touched or kissed us, scrubbing them clean. I pouted, feeling cross. Why can Auntie Xie Yuan spend New Year's Eve at the Liu mansion, while we can only go for dinner on the first night? Is father going to keep her company? He even hugged her in the ancestral hall today. I hated Xie Yuan with a passion. Ever since I could remember, she was always luring father away. Every winter night, mother couldn't get used to the bitter cold of the north and caught a cold every year without fail. But whenever mother fell ill, Xie Yuan would fall ill too, each time making such a fuss it seemed like she was on her deathbed. If father didn't rush to her side, She'd threatened to hang herself again. She'd tried to hang herself more than 30 times in a single year, yet somehow she never managed to die. It wasn't like Mother never got angry about it, but Father always said, "My mother did promise to let her marry me once. Bringing you back dealt her a huge blow. She really was on the verge of dying that time. Now she threatens to hang herself at the slightest provocation. The She family has no one left. I just see her as a little sister. I can't just watch her die and do nothing." He said that as his wife. Mother was technically Xie Yuan's sister-in-law, and that an elder sister-in-law should be like a mother to her husband's siblings. He told Mother not to stoop to the level of a senseless lunatic, but lately, Xie Yuan was finding more and more excuses to call Father away. Mother stroked my head gently. "Are you tired? Tong Tong, would you like to take a nap?" I nodded. I wasn't actually sleepy, but I knew that whenever Mother told me to sleep, it meant she was going to summon that immortal. Sure enough, moments later, I heard Mother whisper softly, "System." I cracked my eyes open a tiny slit and saw a large glowing circle materialize in the air. "How much time do I have left?" Mother asked. I thought I heard the system sigh. "Song Yang. You were supposed to take your points and return to your original world the moment you successfully redeemed Lu Chengyuan. There, you could have regained a healthy body and amassed great wealth, but you chose to forcefully stay in this alternate world. And that means you must abide by the conditions of your stay. You must become the legally recognized matriarch of the Lu family within 6 years, or you will be forcibly sent back to your original world. As of now, you have only 1 month left before you are taken away." Mother fell silent for a long moment. "If I go back, can I take my daughter with me? I'm willing to trade all my points and my health for her." "Impossible. Lu Tong is a native of this world. Just as you cannot force yourself to stay here indefinitely, taking her with you would mean she could never survive in your world." I was terrified. I couldn't pretend to be asleep anymore. I burst into tears. Mother quickly closed the system interface and pulled me into her arms. "Mother," I wailed, "where are you going?" "I want to go with you." The look Mother gave me was filled with unspeakable sorrow. "Tong Tong," she said after a long while, "Mother may have to go to a very, very faraway place. Would you be willing to go back to the Lu mansion and live with Father?" "No, I only want Mother." But Mother said that when she was gone, Father would be the only one connected to me by blood. I was still too young. I needed someone to protect me. She said the Lu family only rejected her as the Lu's granddaughter. No one would stop me from going back. But without Mother, what was the point of going back to the Lu mansion? There was a knock at the door. It was the manservants from the Lu mansion. They had brought a pile of firecrackers and said they'd come to set off fireworks for Mother and me. "Where is Lu Chengyuan?" Mother asked. The manservants hesitated, avoiding her gaze. Miss Yuan's heart condition flared up again. "Sir, no one else can get her to take her medicine, so young master had no choice but to." Mother's voice was calm. "I see." The next evening, when the Lu family's carriage came to pick us up, Father still hadn't returned. I didn't want to go to that first-day dinner at all. The meal served on the first night of the new year was always just the leftovers from New Year's Eve. But Mother said that until I came of age, I needed the Lu family's protection. When we arrived at the Lu mansion, before we could even reach the main hall, Father came hurrying out to greet us. He picked me up in his arms, then took Mother's hand, kissing it repeatedly. "The servants said you didn't set off the fireworks last night. Why not?" "I picked them out specially. Tong Tong would have loved them." I frowned, feeling unhappy. Father wasn't here. What's the point of setting off fireworks alone? Father froze, then turned to look at Mother. "Did you teach her to say that, Iron? I really couldn't leave last night." A Yuan kept throwing up her medicine. I had to stay and coax her to take it. Spoonful by spoonful. It was New Year's Eve, and she was in so much pain. As her elder brother, I couldn't just turn my back on her. It took all night and most of today to get her to settle down. I haven't had a moment's rest. You have to take pity on me tonight. Okay. Mother didn't say a word, she just took my hand and walked inside, but father grabbed her arm again, lowering his voice to a whisper. Father and mother are waiting specially for you tonight. They're giving you this face by welcoming you to dinner. You have to be on your best behavior. Alright. Mother still didn't reply. When we stepped into the dining hall, we saw Xie Yuan chattering animatedly with Grandpa Lu and Grandma Lu, making Grandma Lu laugh until she doubled over. I felt confused. Wasn't she on the verge of death last night? How had she recovered so quickly? The moment the three of us walked in, the laughter died down completely. When Xie Yuan saw Mother, she patted her forehead with a laugh. Oh my, Auntie, look at me, I completely forgot we have guests tonight. I'll have the dishes served right away. As she passed Father, she smiled again and said, Cheng Yuan, you should change your outer robe. I'll have someone send your new one to your room later. She looked exactly like the lady of the house. Grandma Lu nodded in approval. Having a Yuan manage the household affairs for me all these years has been such a relief. She's never made a single mistake. After saying that, she shot a pointed glance at Mother. Mother patted my hand lightly. Reluctantly, I walked over and called out politely, Grandpa, Grandma. Grandma Lu picked me up in her arms. Oh, look at our little Tong Tong, you've grown taller again. Mother greeted them with a nod, saying simply, Master Lu, Mistress Lu. But for some reason, at this supposed family reunion dinner, Xie Yuan ended up sitting on Father's left side, separating Mother and me from him. Father, probably afraid that Mother would get angry, kept making faces at her, silently urging her to endure it and not stoop to Xie Yuan's level. But Mother wasn't angry at all. She set down her wine cup and said calmly, I'm here today to discuss having Tong Tong's name entered into the Lu family tree. The dining hall fell completely silent. Father stared at her in shock. Why are you bringing this up all of a sudden? We never talked about this. Mother ignored him. Addressing only Grandpa and Grandma Lu, Tong Tong is old enough to start her education now, as the legitimate granddaughter of the Lu family. I hope her name can be recorded in the family tree as soon as possible, so she can come live at the Lu mansion. Grandpa Lu nodded. That's a reasonable request. The ancestral rules don't prohibit adding descendants to the tree. We can certainly have Tong Tong's name entered sooner rather than later. Mother inclined her head in thanks. Then I thank you, Master Lu. I'll go see the clan leader in a few days to arrange for Tong Tong to move back to the Lu mansion. Wait a minute. Father suddenly objected, his voice rising. If Tong Tong moves back here, what will happen to you? She's been with you her whole life. She can't bear to be separated from you all of a sudden. Don't you miss her? Mother's voice was cool and detached. She has to grow up eventually. You'll be entering the family tree with Tong Tong next year, won't you? Why rush it now? Can't you just wait and do it together? Whether I'm included or not doesn't matter. Mother took a sip of tea. Doesn't matter. Father looked stunned. You don't want to be part of my family tree. Whose family tree do you want to join then? Song Yang, you're already my wife. Sooner or later, you'll be part of the Lu family. Just then, Xie Yuan, who had been quiet until now, suddenly spoke up. Song Yang, I know you're anxious, but you shouldn't use the child to blackmail Cheng Yuan just because you want to get into the Lu family tree. Mother frowned. What do you mean by that? Xie Yuan let out a long, exaggerated sigh. You deliberately brought this up in front of Father and Mother today, talking about sending the child to live here. And once she's here, you'll let her cry and fuss every day for her mother, won't you? You're just using this trick to force the Lu family into taking you back. Hitting the lucky apple while blindfolded is already hard enough as it is. You can't throw a tantrum just because Cheng Yuan missed the shot this year, and use a child to pressure everyone like this. You're from the countryside, so you might not understand. Here, rules are rules. The moment she finished speaking, the entire room fell silent. It was clear that everyone present believed her words. I was so anxious I wanted to scream. My mother isn't like that. Mother squeezed my hand gently, signaling me to be quiet. She turned to father and asked, "Do you also think I'm using Tong Tong to blackmail you into letting me join the family tree?" Father hesitated for a long, painful moment before finally speaking. "Ian, you don't have to do this. I already promised you, didn't I? Next year, I'll definitely do it, definitely." Mother suddenly let out a cold, bitter laugh. She stood up and looked around at everyone in the room. "I don't want to be part of this family tree. I'm only here today to fight for what my daughter is entitled to by right. As for me, rest assured, everyone." She raised her hand and spoke clearly, her voice ringing out through the silent hall. "I, Song Yang, swear here and now that I will never enter the Lu family tree in this lifetime. If I break this oath, may I be..." "Shut up." Father suddenly lunged forward, grabbing her hand so tightly his knuckles turned white. "Are you crazy? Don't make such a vow. Take it back now." The dinner ended in complete disaster. Grandpa Lu called mother and father into his study. I waited outside alone, bored, watching a line of ants carry crumbs across the stone path. But suddenly, a dark shadow fell over me. I looked up and saw Xie Yunju. He was Xie Yuan's younger brother, 9 years old. "Bastard," he said, staring down at me with a sneer. "You're not welcome here. Take your cheap mother and get out." I flew into a rage. "You're the bastard. My surname is Lu. My mother is my father's lawfully wedded wife. We had a proper wedding ceremony. This is the Lu mansion. You, with your Xie surname, are the one who should get out of here." Enraged, he shoved me hard. I fell to the ground, and he pounced on me, hitting me wildly. "I'll beat you to death. It's all because of your mother that my sister hasn't been able to enter the Lu family all these years. Both you and your mother deserve to die." I dodged left and right, fished out the slingshot mother had given me to carry around, grabbed a small stone at random, pulled back the band, and aimed it at his head. Thwack, he screamed, covering his eye as he collapsed to the floor, but the searing pain only made him angrier. He scrambled to his feet at once and charged at me, ready to kick me again. At that critical moment, mother rushed over and shielded me with her body. Xie Yunzhou's foot slammed into mother's stomach hard. Furious, I picked up my slingshot again immediately and hit him square in the belly. He crumpled to the ground, wailing loudly. His cries drew the adults over. "Yunju," Xie Yuan ran over, sobbing as she pulled him into her arms. "Oh my God, who did this to you?" Mother's face had turned pale, but she hugged me tightly to her chest too. "Don't be afraid, Tong Tong. Mother's here." I nodded. With mother by my side, I wasn't afraid of anyone. "Are you hurt anywhere?" I shook my head. "No." I dodged all the hits he threw at me, and when I hit him, I got him right away. What a joke. Mother's archery skills were every bit as good as father's, and I was her student. I could shoot down a bird flying in the sky when I was only 3 years old. "Sister," Xie Yunju wailed, "they don't want us here anymore. Lu Tong called me a bastard just now and told us to get out." Grandpa Lu and Grandma Lu, who had hurried over at the sound, immediately scowled. "That's not true. He called me a bastard first." I hurried to defend myself. "He insulted mother too." "That's enough. It's the new year. Look at this mess." Grandpa Lu snapped. "Cheng Yuan, is this the kind of child your wife raises? Only 5 years old, and she can say such things. Yunju lost his parents when he was so young, and now he has to be called a bastard." Xie Yuan clutched her chest, weeping bitterly. "If anything happens to him, I won't want to live either. I'll have no face left to see my parents in the afterlife." She pressed a hand to her heart, gasping for breath as if she would faint at any moment. But mother didn't say a word. She just looked at father quietly. I knew mother wasn't refusing to avenge me. She was testing father. In a situation like this, would he protect me, or would he take Xie Yuan and her brother's side? After a long, tense silence, father finally spoke up. He turned to mother, but he avoided her gaze. "Ian, in this matter, Tong Tong is indeed at fault. Tell Tong Tong to apologize to Yunju. Why? Mother let out a cold laugh. He called your daughter a bastard and told her to get out. Yet you want your daughter to apologize to him. Is this the Lu family's idea of justice? Father stumbled over his words. He's just a child, he doesn't even understand what bastard means. Tong Tong called him names too, didn't she? Besides, it's obvious Yunju is hurt worse. Tong Tong looks perfectly fine. I pointed at Xie Yunju. But father, he hit me first. I only fought back. But it's wrong for you to hit people. Father walked over to me. Tong Tong, girls shouldn't resort to violence so easily. You were wrong today, and when you're wrong, you have to admit it. My lower lip trembled, and a wave of grievance washed over me. Tears streamed down my face. My daughter has done nothing wrong, Mother said suddenly. She lifted me into her arms and gave a bitter, self-mocking laugh. How foolish of me to think you would protect her. All that talk about blood ties and family love, turns out I was wrong all along. She turned and walked away. Father chased after her, grabbing her arm roughly. Ian, why are you being so willful today? You made a scene at the dinner table, and now this. Can't you think about me for once? It's the new year, and father and mother are already so displeased with you. I'm caught in the middle here. Let's get a divorce, Mother said suddenly. Father froze. What did you say? I said let's get a divorce. Mother looked him straight in the eye. Tong Tong is coming with me. You want to divorce me? It seemed to take him a long time to process the words. He grew agitated at once. How can you say something like that? We took our vows before heaven and earth on our wedding day. We swore to stay together for life. What's gotten into you tonight? You've never been so unreasonable before. We agreed, no matter how angry we get, we'd never casually talk about divorce. Mother stared at him silently. He softened his tone, his voice pleading. It's just an apology. Must you be so stubborn? The Xie siblings are being unreasonable, but do you have to be too? I've told you before, an elder sister-in-law should be like a mother. Can't you just let her have her way this once? Slap. Mother suddenly raised her hand and slapped him across the face. Father didn't come home with us. He was furious. I snuggled in Mother's arms, overcome with guilt. It's all my fault, Mother. I shouldn't have hit Xie Yunju. But Mother shook her head. You did nothing wrong, Tong Tong. When someone bullies you, you fight back. Next time, hit them even harder. I clutched Mother's clothes tightly. Mother, is Father going to abandon us? But Mother didn't answer. I looked up at her and was horrified to find her face burning with fever. And on the bed, a pool of blood had spread out, unnoticed until now. I burst into tears. The nanny rushed in to check on us, and her face turned ashen. Oh no, could Madam be pregnant? She's having a miscarriage. Quick, go fetch the young master. Hurry and get a doctor. Mother soon slipped into unconsciousness. Breaking out in cold sweats, I cried as I wiped the sweat from her forehead. I was so scared. I wished Father would hurry home, like he used to hold Mother and me in his arms, and tell us that with him around, no one could ever hurt Mother again. The doctor arrived first, but after feeling Mother's pulse, he just kept shaking his head. Did Madam's abdomen receive a blow today? I'm afraid this child can't be saved. I'm powerless to help. But I've heard the Lu family has our ancestral 8 treasures pill. That medicine can save lives. Perhaps administering it could save the baby. The nanny immediately sent someone else to the Lu mansion to fetch Father. Before long, the messengers returned, but Father was not with them. The young master is with Miss Yuan. Because of what happened tonight, Miss Yuan tried to hang herself again. She was just rescued, and she's throwing a terrible fit. We couldn't even get close to speak to the young master. He chased us away, saying no one is allowed to upset Miss Yuan tonight. We told him Madam is having a miscarriage, but he didn't believe us. He said Madam. The messenger hesitated. He said Madam is just looking for trouble tonight. She was never even diagnosed as pregnant. How could she be miscarrying? We tried to beg for the 8 treasures pill, but Master Xie overheard us. he threw a tantrum, saying his sister is dying and begged the young master for it too. In the end, the young master and Miss Yuan made the decision to give the pill to Miss Yuan. Nanny, mother woke up. She had heard everything. No need to send anyone else to the Lu mansion. All of you, leave us. The door closed, leaving only mother and me in the room. I watched as mother summoned the system. Host, system. I didn't even know I was pregnant again. The system fell silent for a moment. You can use your points to save this child. I've already scanned. This is a boy. They would never let the mother of their legitimate grandson live in exile. Host, if you save this child, you might still be able to complete your mission within the time limit and stay in this world. But mother shook her head. No, Tong Tong. I've already dragged her into enough suffering. I don't want to bring this child into the world to suffer too. Just exchange the points for some painkillers, at the very least. I don't want to be in so much pain. A beam of light descended, and mother's agony visibly eased. I climbed onto the bed and snuggled up in her arms. I knew there was nothing I could do to help mother. All I could do was stay by her side. Our yellow dog, Xiao Wang, jumped onto the bed too. Mother hugged him gently. Xiao Wang, when I'm gone, you must protect Tong Tong. Okay, Xiao Wang whimpered softly, as if he understood every word mother said. That night, mother told me many things. She said that in her world, she was an archery athlete, a world champion, no less. But unfortunately, she had misjudged a man's character. He was a scoundrel, and the other woman he was seeing had plotted against her, injuring her fingers so badly that she could never shoot a bow again. That was when the system found her, saying that if she was willing to come to this world to redeem father, upon success, not only would her fingers heal completely, but she would also receive a great fortune. So she came. She became an orphan begging for food on the streets. Her uncle, who was also begging there, was another transmigrator on a mission too. Later, the two of them were adopted by their maternal grandfather, who worked as a bowmaker, and became like brother and sister. I never believed in love again. After what happened, mother said, stroking my head, but when Lu Chengyuan jumped into the flood to save me, I foolishly had a change of heart. I thought, let's take a chance. What if? What if he really was a good man? What a pity. In the end, I lost the bet. Mother asked me if I would like to live with my uncle and aunt. Uncle had his own mission to complete too, something about redeeming a villainous female lead, and a case of a real and fake princess. Mother said she had contacted uncle through the system. Not long ago, aunt had been found by the imperial family. She was the real princess. Uncle had fulfilled the system's harsh requirements, allowing him to stay in this world permanently, and he was willing to take me in and raise me. I thought for a moment, then nodded. Wherever mother wants me to go, I'll go. The next day, father finally found out about mother's miscarriage. He stumbled into the bedroom, his steps unsteady. I was sitting by mother's side, helping her drink her medicine. When he saw how pale mother looked, his eyes instantly turned red. How could this really be a miscarriage? I'm sorry, Ian, I'm so sorry. I thought you were just throwing a tantrum, that you knew I was with a Yuan, and you were jealous, deliberately trying to get me to come back. I'm such a fool. I was wrong. Ian, please say something. But mother didn't want to say a single word to him anymore. Let's get a divorce, she said. No, I won't divorce you. Tears streamed down his face. I know you resent me, hate me for not saving our child, but I didn't refuse to give you the 8 treasures pill on purpose. It's just that a Yuan was on the verge of death last night. I had to use the pill to save her first. I thought you were lying to me. He kissed mother's hand repeatedly, his voice desperate. Ian, it was a matter of life and death. I couldn't just stand by and do nothing. I owe her so much. I can't let her lose her life too. We only lost a child. We can have another one later. But if a Yuan dies, she'll be gone forever. I promise, once you recover, we'll have another baby right away. Okay, mother ignored him. So he hurried outside and dragged Xie Yunju into the room. I know you're upset. Wasn't all this just about getting Yunju to apologize to Tong Tong? I brought him here today. He'll apologize to Tong Tong, and to you too. Is that okay? He helped mother sit up gently. Iron, he's come here to humble himself and say sorry. That's giving you plenty of face. As the elder, you should be magnanimous, right? In a moment, we'll all just smile and make up. Let Tong Tong share some of her pastries with him, and we'll put this whole thing behind us. No more fighting. All right, he even called out to me. Come here, Tong Tong. Come to daddy's side. Smile at brother Yunju. I was angry. So I turned my head away from him only to catch sight of mother's face. Oh my God, mother's face was deathly pale. She looked like she could barely hold on. Sure enough, just as Xie Yunju dragged his feet over to mother, she suddenly let out a gasp and coughed up a large mouthful of blood. Xie Yunju burst into tears again. Whoa, she did it on purpose. He pointed at mother, rolling around on the floor in a tantrum. Disgusting. So disgusting. I came here to apologize. And she deliberately tried to gross me out. Pay for my clothes. Pay for my clothes. Father froze. Splatters of blood had landed on his robe too. He pushed Xie Yunju aside and rushed out the door, shouting, Where's the doctor? Hurry and get the doctor here. Yang Yang, don't scare me like this. He rushed back to the bed, his hands trembling as he took mother's hand. Even if you're angry, you can't pretend to cough up blood to frighten me like this. The doctor arrived soon after. Madam is suffering from severe emotional distress after her miscarriage, and her body is extremely weak. But I knew better. Mother's coughing up blood must have been the system's doing. It had said that it would make mother's health deteriorate day by day this month, until her body faded away naturally. Father chased everyone out of the room and stayed by mother's side alone, but instead of comforting her, he spent the whole time lecturing her and losing his temper. I said no divorce. I will never agree to it, Song Yang, until the day I die. You are my wife. All right, be good, go to sleep, no more fussing. Okay, good girl, Iron, be obedient. As soon as you get better, we'll have another baby right away. I held Xiao Wang in my arms. He seemed to sense that mother was leaving too. His eyes were filled with tears. But why couldn't father see that mother wasn't just throwing a tantrum? She was really going to leave this world. Father stayed inside with mother for a long time, so long that I leaned against the doorframe and fell asleep. When I woke up, it was already evening. Father was gone, and Xiao Wang was gone too. Xiao Wang was the dog mother had brought with her from Jiangju. He had never once run away from home before. I was frantic, grabbing everyone I saw to ask where he was. I think I saw the young master take Xiao Wang back to the Lu mansion. I couldn't understand why father would take Xiao Wang away. But Xiao Wang was mother's dog. She couldn't be without him in her final days. I begged the nanny to take me to the Lu mansion, but as soon as we arrived, I heard the servants whispering to each other. That dog was so hard to kill. Yeah, it kept struggling. We could barely hold it down. The nanny's face turned white as a sheet. What are you talking about? Which dog did you kill? What other dog? The yellow dog the young master and young master Xie brought back, of course. We've already made dog meat soup out of it, and it's been sent to Miss Yuan's room. Hurry up, don't miss the time the master said she has to drink it. I froze. Dog meat, soup, Xiao Wang, had been made into soup. I jumped out of the nanny's arms and ran as fast as my legs could carry me toward Xie Yuan's room. This was too much. This was going too far. But just as I was about to reach the door, someone tripped me hard from behind, and I fell sprawling to the ground. It was Xie Yunju. He stood with his arms crossed over his chest, blocking my way, and looked down at me disdainfully. Brother Chengyuan is feeding my sister her soup right now. You bastard, you're not allowed to go in. I was so angry I saw red. I lunged at him and bit him, but without my slingshot, and with only my small strength. How could I possibly beat a 9-year-old boy? I got hit on the head several times, but I didn't feel the pain, I just kept hitting him like a madman. The commotion finally drew the attention of the people inside the room. Father came out holding a bowl, and was about to scold me when he froze. Tong Tong, what are you doing here? He set the bowl down and pulled me and Xie Yunju apart, his voice sharp. Didn't Daddy tell you that girls shouldn't fight? Why won't you ever listen to me? Tong Tong. Mother's anxious voice rang out behind me. Father suddenly stiffened. Mother rushed over and pulled me into her arms. She had woken up to find me gone, and had hurried to the Lu mansion right away. Who did this to you? Mother, I wailed. They killed Xiao Wang. Xiao Wang has been turned into soup. Mother froze. She looked up at Father, her eyes filled with disbelief. Father looked away guiltily. Ian, about this. I'll explain everything to you when we go back home tonight. I want to hear it now. Every word Mother spoke was filled with grief and anger. Have you forgotten how you got your life? That day during the flood, by the last stretch of the road, you were already exhausted beyond belief. It was Xiao Wang who pulled both of us to the shore. He saved our lives. A few years ago on New Year's Eve, when you weren't home, a thief broke into our house. It was Xiao Wang who rushed at him first. Even though the thief beat him and threw him around, he refused to let go, and fought with his life to protect us. How could you bear to do this? How could you, Lu Chengyuan? Do you even have a shred of conscience left? Father hung his head, unable to meet her gaze. About this, Song Yang. Don't blame Chengyuan. Xie Yuan walked out slowly, covering her mouth with a handkerchief. I was gravely ill last night. The master told me that my illness was caused by a yellow dog haunting the outskirts of the city. To fully recover, I have no choice but to drink soup made from that dog's meat. She sighed softly. I know you want to take over the household affairs of this mansion, but if Chengyuan can hit the lucky apple while blindfolded on New Year's Eve, you'll be able to enter the family tree legally. Why are you in such a hurry to harm me with these witchcraft tricks? And now, just to cure my illness, I have to drink this soup. You have no idea how disgusting it tastes. It makes me want to throw up. I finally understood why Father had brought Xie Yunju over to apologize to Mother. They had only used the apology as a trick to steal Xiao Wang away. These bad people, evil people. Lu Chengyuan, you actually believe this nonsense? Mother stared at him in disbelief. Xiao Wang is the dog I brought with me from Jiangju. How could you possibly believe such ridiculous talk about a yellow dog haunting someone? I had no choice. Father took a step closer, his eyes darting away. Ian, don't push me. Last night, the master said that Xiao Wang's fate is incompatible with a Yuan's. I just want to cure her as soon as possible. You know we owe her this. It's you who owes her, not Emmy. Mother shouted. Lu Chengyuan, I don't care what debts you have to pay her. But who gave you the right to use Xiao Wang's life to pay for them? That's enough. Father finally lost his patience. He roared at her, his face contorted with anger. Look at you, shouting and screaming like a madwoman. Do you have any dignity left as the wife of an aristocratic family? Xiao Wang is just an animal, no matter how you look at it. If you want another dog, I'll buy you 100 more. Why are you making such a scene over this? Mother fell silent. She stared at him coldly. You're the animal, she said. No, all of you are worse than animals. She suddenly picked up a bow and arrow standing in the courtyard, narked an arrow, and aimed it straight at Father and Xie Yuan. I'm going to kill both of you to avenge Xiao Wang. Chaos erupted in an instant. There were cries, screams, and the whoosh of arrows flying through the air. But in the next second, Father suddenly tackled Mother from behind, wrapping his arms around her waist and pinning her down tightly. She struggled with all her strength, but her body was far too weak. She coughed up another mouthful of blood, then fainted again. Mother was temporarily placed in a side room of the Lu mansion. Father had wanted to let her stay in his own bedroom, but Grandpa Lu, Grandma Lu, and Xie Yuan all said it would go against the Lu family's rules. Xie Yuan invited the doctor who had been treating her to come examine mother. Everyone in the Lu family praised this doctor for his superb medical skills. But that doctor was clearly a fraud. He claimed that mother wasn't actually sick, she had just taken some blood-inducing pills to fake coughing up blood. When mother woke up, both father and Xie Yuan were by her bedside. "Ian, I have some good news for you. Do you want to hear it?" Father tucked the corner of the quilt around her gently. "Father, mother, and the clan elders have all agreed to let you enter the family. Starting today, you and Tong Tong can live in the Lu mansion." Mother stared at him coldly, saying nothing. Father felt uneasy under her gaze, and stumbled over his words. "It's just, this isn't exactly in line with the family rules, so to show how much they care about you, father and mother came up with a solution. You and a Yuan will enter the family together, she will be my primary wife, and you will be my noble concubine. After some time passes, I'll promote you to be my co-wife." Noble concubine. Mother let out a bitter laugh. "I am your legally wedded wife, we have an official marriage certificate from the government, and now you want me to be your concubine? Lu Chengyuan, do you still remember what you said when you married me? You said you would only ever have me for the rest of your life." "I know, of course I remember, but your marriage certificate was fake all along," Xie Yuan said suddenly, cutting him off. "A Yuan." Father snapped at her. "Shut up. Why are we still hiding it from her? She deserves to know the truth sooner or later." Xie Yuan walked closer, a smirk playing on her lips. "That marriage certificate you and Cheng Yuan have, the official seal on it isn't real at all. I carved that seal myself when I was bored." Mother froze, her eyes widening in shock. "The entire Lu family has been humoring you for years just to make you happy. You should be grateful. And now Cheng Yuan has even agreed to make you his co-wife later on. I really don't understand why you keep stirring up trouble, trying to turn this peaceful household upside down every single day." "A Yuan," father said sharply. "Get out of here first." Xie Yuan pouted, then turned and walked out of the room. "Fake, it was fake," mother whispered, her voice trembling. "Everything was fake, Ian. About this, I really had no choice back then. When she heard we were getting married, Xie Yuan was on the brink of death, so we used a fake certificate first. Just to calm her down, to stop her from trying to kill herself." "Ha ha 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 ha." Mother laughed, but as she laughed, tears streamed down her face. "To stop her from killing herself, your entire family lied to me for 6 whole years." Mother's tears rolled down her cheeks. "Lu Chengyuan, you begged me to marry you. You begged me to come back to Qingcheng with you. I gave up so much for you. How could you do this to me? How could you?" Father panicked, wiping mother's tears frantically. "Ian, there's no need for you to be so angry. All these years, apart from not being in the family tree and not living in the old mansion, haven't you been treated like my proper wife in every other way? That piece of paper is just a worthless scrap. What does it matter if it's real or fake? The important thing is that you are my wife. We've loved each other for 6 years, no one can take that away from us. And as for being my noble concubine first, it's actually a good thing. Later, when we live in the Lu mansion, a Yuan can keep managing the household affairs for you. It'll save you all the trouble, won't it? The 3 of us can go back to living happily like we used to. And father and mother have promised that they'll promote you to co-wife soon." He rambled on and on, but mother just stared blankly at the ceiling, repeating the same words over and over again. "Fake, so that's how it is. System, so that's the truth. How stupid I was. I've been so stupid all this time." Mother finally understood. When the system said she had never truly become the matriarch of the Lu family, it wasn't referring to whether she had managed the household or been included in the family tree. It was because for these past 6 years, she had never actually been father's wife at all. That marriage certificate had been fake from the very start. Suddenly, she burst into wild laughter again. "Ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. When I insisted on staying here back then, you said I would regret it. Is this what you wanted me to realize? She looked up at the empty air, laughing and crying at the same time, then suddenly coughed up another mouthful of blood. This time, the blood she spat out was even more than before. Father led me out of Mother's room. Tong Tong, tell Daddy the truth. Where did your mother buy those blood-inducing pills? I shook my head. Mother never took any pills like that. She's really sick. She's going to die soon. He frowned, displeased. Nonsense. How can you be lying for your mother at such a young age? I shook my head again. I'm not lying. Daddy. He sighed and knelt down to my level. Tong Tong, you want to stay with Mother forever, don't you? I nodded. But if Mother divorces Daddy, you'll never be able to see her again. I fell silent. I was never going to see her again anyway. Here's what we'll do. If Mother ever talks about divorcing Daddy again, you throw a tantrum, okay? You tell her that if she divorces Daddy, you'll kill yourself too. My eyes widened in shock. He was so strange. One minute he was telling me not to lie, the next he was telling me to lie. He wouldn't let me say that Mother was dying, but he wanted me to say that I would kill myself. Just then, a servant came to the door and announced that Xie Yuan was having another heart attack. Father sighed and said to me, Daddy has a lot on his plate. I have so many difficulties to deal with. When you and Mother move in here later, you can't be as willful as you used to be. Do you understand? I nodded. I was going to leave with Uncle soon anyway. I wasn't going to live here. Father left, after nightfall. I tiptoed back to Mother's room and found that she was already awake. The system must have given her more painkillers. Although her face was still pale, she no longer looked like she was in pain. But her eyes were empty, like all the light had gone out of them. System, how long until Song Heng and Chingy arrive? At most half a month. Good. She closed her eyes briefly. I'll wait until that day. In the days that followed, Father came to visit every day. He would stand outside the door and say all kinds of nice things. But Mother always kept the door closed. She refused to see anyone except me. Eventually, Father grew angry. He said, Ian, why have you become like this? You used to be so understanding. Now you're just being unreasonable and making trouble for no reason. He told Mother that she needed to reflect on her behavior, and every day, Xie Yuan would send over a bowl of medicinal soup, claiming it was to help Mother recover her strength. Everyone in the mansion praised her for being kind and generous, saying that she would definitely make a wonderful matriarch in the future. But Mother told me that the soup was laced with a slow-acting poison. She had kept the dregs of the medicine as evidence. In the days that followed, Grandpa Lu and Grandma Lu ignored Mother completely. Father gave her the silent treatment, and the servants deliberately made things difficult for her. It was as if the entire Lu mansion was just waiting for Mother to give in, to accept the fake marriage certificate, to agree to be a concubine, to accept whatever scraps of kindness they deigned to throw her way. But they didn't know that Mother's heart had already died long ago. All she wanted now was to go home, to go back to her real home. Finally, the last day arrived. Mother was going to leave. That night, the system conjured up a beautiful dress out of nowhere. When Mother put it on, she looked as elegant and ethereal as a fairy. She shouldn't have been able to leave the Lu mansion at all. But when she took my hand and walked out through the front gate, all the guards standing watch were fast asleep. She looked up at the empty air, smiled, and said softly, "Thank you." Then she led me back to our little house. Uncle and Aunt were already waiting there for us. Aunt picked me up in her arms, while Uncle asked Mother, "Are you all ready?" Mother nodded, but her eyes filled with tears immediately. Tong Tong, I'm entrusting her to you from now on. Uncle hugged her tightly. Ian, going back is for the best. You should have left a long time ago. When you get back, remember to win a few more championships. Tong Tong will be my daughter from now on. Chingy and I will never let anyone hurt her. Aunt said, "Don't worry, Ian. I'll officially adopt Tong Tong as my own daughter. The Emperor and Empress dote on me so much now. No one will dare to bully my daughter, Mother nodded, then hugged me tightly again. Mother, you have to be happy. Promise me you'll never meet someone like Daddy again. I had thought long and hard about what blessing to give Mother. But this seemed like the best one. I promise. Mother cried. You too, Tong Tong. You must always be happy. In that other world, I will pray for you every single day, always and forever. In the middle of the night, Mother left. The tears I had been holding back finally fell. Mother, you must be happy. You absolutely must. Uncle hugged me, wiping my tears away gently. Tong Tong, your mother could have taken so much wealth with her when she left, but in the end, she only asked for healthy hands. She used all her remaining points to exchange for a protection talisman for you. With this talisman, no one will ever be able to hurt you again in this life. The next day, Uncle and Aunt took me back to the Lu mansion. I didn't want to go back at all, but Uncle said that even though Mother had left, the grudges she had in this world still needed to be avenged. After we've gotten our revenge, we'll ask the system to tell your mother. It'll make her happy. But as soon as we arrived, we saw Father throwing a tantrum at the front gate of the Lu mansion. How could you lose track of two people? How did Madam and the young lady leave without any of you noticing? All of you, go out and find them right now. Xie Yuan stood beside him, saying, Song Yang is being so unreasonable. Sneaking out of the mansion with the child in the middle of the night, doesn't she care about her reputation at all? Even if we find her and bring her back, what will people say about her? Father's face was dark with anger. Suddenly, he looked up and saw me in Uncle's arms, Tong Tong. But when he got a clear look at Uncle, his face turned as white as a sheet. Uncle curled his lips into a cold smile that didn't reach his eyes. What's wrong, brother-in-law? Why do you look like you've seen a ghost? I even came to your wedding to drink your wedding wine. It's only been a few years, and you don't recognize me already. Father took a deep breath, trying to compose himself. Tong Tong. Come to Daddy first. I shook my head and clung tightly to Uncle's neck. Father frowned. Song Heng, I don't know what lies Iron has been telling you, but this is a family matter. You might not be aware of this, but Iron has been deliberately picking fights lately. She was even more willful last night, sneaking out of the mansion with Tong Tong. This kind of behavior is unacceptable in any decent family. She married me, so she has to abide by the rules of the Lu family. This is our family business. I suggest you stay out of it. Oh, Aunt stepped forward with a light laugh. What if we insist on interfering? Xie Yuan let out a scoff, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Song Yang hasn't even been properly admitted into the Lu family yet. Who do you think you are, coming here and causing trouble at the Lu mansion's front gate? Guards, seize the young lady and throw these meddlers out of. Before she could finish the word here, the eunuch standing beside Aunt stepped forward and slapped her hard across the face. How dare you insult Her Royal Highness the Princess? 30 strokes of the cane. Chaos erupted in the Lu mansion at once. The Lu family was a prominent local clan, but Grandpa Lu's official position wasn't very high. Aunt and Uncle sat leisurely on the seats of honor in the main hall, holding me in their arms, while the entire Lu family knelt trembling on the floor below them. Outside the hall, the sound of the cane hitting Xie Yuan's body echoed through the air, along with her shrill screams of pain, but inside the hall, no one dared to make a single sound. Aunt clicked her tongue. TSK. This tea is much too hot, isn't it? Grandma Lu jumped to her feet immediately. Your Highness. This humble woman will go and get you a new cup right away. Splash. The tea spilled all over Grandma Lu's head. Oh my, I'm so clumsy, Aunt said with a smile. Grandma Lu trembled, bowing her head. It was this humble woman's fault for not catching it properly. I looked at Uncle in confusion. Uncle smiled at me and put a finger to his lips, making a shush gesture. Don't worry about it. Your aunt is just having some fun. She was originally supposed to be the villainess in this story. After all, she's been cooped up in the palace for too long these past few days. Let's just sit back and watch her show. I nodded. So I watched as Aunt accidentally spilled her tea on Grandma Lu's face, head, and clothes over and over again. Finally, Grandpa Lu could bear it no longer. He raised his head and said, "Your Highness, we beg you to tell us what wrongs the Lu family has committed. Please enlighten us." "Oh, so you do know you've done something wrong," Aunt chuckled, twirling her red-painted fingernails and drawing out her words slowly. "I've heard that someone in this mansion had the audacity to force my younger sister to be a concubine." As soon as the words left her mouth, Grandpa Lu and Grandma Lu's faces turned deathly pale. Song Yang She. Song Yang is the imperial consort's younger sister. She is also my younger sister. The faces of everyone in the Lu family turned ashen in an instant. "Your Highness, this is all a misunderstanding," Master Lu said hastily. "Song Yang and my son were married 6 years ago, but according to the Lu family rules, an outsider marrying into the family must hit the lucky apple while blindfolded on New Year's Eve before she can enter the mansion and take charge of the household. To let her join the family sooner, we